Tarik Skubal and Mize are gone. Can a new crop of Tigers answer the call? 2020, Mize and Tarik Skubal reported to the Detroit Tigers' alternate training site in Toledo, Ohio. They were the first players outside on a quiet, dull morning during the pandemic. The previous night, both had gotten the biggest phone calls of their lives.
Tired of constantly refilling your pet's water bowl? This filtered fountain keeps water circulating and offers a generous capacity, giving cats and small dogs convenient access to flowing water. Want to get the best verified deal and see full details? Visit grabdeal.us/5 right now.
Mize was in his downtown Detroit apartment when he learned he was getting promoted to the major leagues. He gave a thumbs up to his wife, Talai, while on the phone. They poured a glass of wine to celebrate. Advertisement Skubal was at the alternate site playing video games when a call from Dave Littlefield, the Tigers' former vice president of player development, popped up on his phone. The next morning, neither player was sure how to approach it with the other. "Did you get a phone call last night?" he said. "Are you going to the big leagues?" Mize said. That morning, they jumped around like little kids, Mize once said. Soon, they were boarding a private plane on their way to Chicago to make their MLB debuts in an empty park. They were beacons of hope in Al Avila's pitching-centric rebuild. They represented the promise of better days ahead. Together, Mize and Skubal morphed from scrawny kids to formidable grown men. They rehabbed from injuries together and succeeded and failed together. Skubal went into overdrive and became the best pitcher in the sport. Mize battled ups and downs, twists and turns, but became an all-star. Now Mize and Skubal are gone, shipped at the trade deadline after Detroit's disappointing first half. In some ways, the Tigers are again reshaping for the road ahead. But after thumping the Seattle Mariners 8-0 on Tuesday, the Tigers have won 4 in a row. They have scored at least 8 runs in 6 straight games. Somehow, they are only 1-2 games out of a playoff spot. There's a lot of emotions in all of this, manager AJ. Once that settles, you look up and there's 50 games, and we're going to play all of them, and we're going to try to win every game. It has been difficult to describe the emotional pulse of the Detroit Tigers the past few days. The prevailing mood has not quite been solemn. Jake Rogers, the beloved backup catcher who had been in the organization longer than both, went to the Baltimore Orioles, then got traded to the Boston Red Sox. "It's definitely a little strange," first baseman Spencer Torkelson said. "If I've learned anything about the big leagues, it's a next-man-up mentality. Those guys are going to be missed, for sure, especially as friends. The show goes on in the big leagues and in life in general." When Detroit traded Skubal, it marked the end of a timeline, the conclusion of the Tigers' run with the best pitcher in baseball. In Mize, the Tigers lost a figure who also had a tremendous impact on the organization and its culture. There was a time when every pitch he threw was a story. Mize's career was not always smooth. But by the end, his resolve and professionalism made him a shining example of how to handle life in the major leagues. "What I remember about Casey here is he gave everything he could to his routines and preparing for every time we gave him the ball," Hinch said. "I had some really good conversations with him, and I had one of the toughest conversations of my time when we left him off the playoff roster in 2024. He bounced back from that to make an all-star team and pitch incredibly well this year. So, I love the human, the player, the teammate, everything that Casey Mize is about." The room has changed. Kevin McGonigal, Max Clark, Eduardo Valencia, and Hao-Yu Lee are rookies, all embodying the next wave of faces who will define the franchise. "It's been a good time," Utilitaman Zach McKinstry said, citing this new energy that these young guys are bringing. "Great at-bats, great approaches." Although the Tigers parted with one unmatched ace and another savvy starter at the deadline, they did not completely throw in the towel on their season. Advertisement: Hinch was walking the hallway at the team hotel Monday, shortly after the trade deadline had passed. He bumped into second baseman Gleyber Torres, one of the players on expiring deals who is also a trade candidate. Torres stayed put and will help bolster the Tigers' lineup down the stretch. "As soon as he looked at me," Hinch said, "I'm not sure if we were going to laugh, hug, or if he really wanted to ask me whether he had been traded." Tuesday afternoon, 38-year-old closer Kenley Jansen leaned back in a chair, still a key part of a bullpen that could hold the key to whether the Tigers can still compete. The lineup didn't change, Jansen said. At the end of the day, who plays the most? It's the position players and the bullpen that are going to play the most every day. It's got to start with me to step it up. I've got to step up and pitch better. Jansen has seen just about everything this game has to offer. He was once a catcher before becoming one of the most decorated closers of all time. Jansen understands how quickly time moves in this game. The American League is not that great this year. They showed it the last couple of years. Tuesday, under a smoky sky in Seattle, the Tigers' next pitching force continued to look like one of the most underrated arms in the game. Better yet, he's making a case for why everyone should learn his name. Troy Melton, the 25-year-old who was once a walk-on at San Diego State, pitched 7 shutout innings. His ERA since coming off the injured list, May 24, is 1.58. Jacob Misiorowski is the only MLB starter who has been better. Melton has surrendered 2 or fewer earned runs in 11 of his 12 starts this season. Advertisement: Melton has a laid-back, Southern California vibe, though he is deeply sharp and could emerge as one of the team's next leaders. He said he has hardly considered having to replace Skubal or Mize as a bigger anchor in this rotation. Losing 2 good players sucks, but we have some pretty good players here to fill the shoes, Melton said. It's not going to be one guy that takes over and is going to be Skub. It's going to be an effort out of all of us. In the 4th inning, the Mariners had 2 runners on base with only 1 out. Melton proceeded to strike out Josh Naylor, a fierce Tigers rival, and Cal Raleigh, the man who clobbered 60 home runs last season. After dispatching the big dumper, Melton turned, pumped his fist, and let out a yell. It was a light version of the thunderous roars Skubal unleashed so many times over the years. Just happy they didn't score, Melton said. Troy face-dashing pic. Twitter, com/opr9em8dcc, Detroit Tigers at Tigers. August 5, 2026, the Tigers still have holes to fill. Jackson Jobe, the electric righty who has been recovering from Tommy John surgery for more than a year, will return to the rotation later this week in San Francisco. I understand intellectually where everything's at, Hinch said. Competitively, we've got to put the pieces back together and get our guys healthy and put our best team on the field to try to win as many games as we can. Drew Anderson will stretch out as a starter for the time being, though the injured Jack Flaherty could soon resume throwing. River Ryan, the hard-throwing 27-year-old acquired in the Skubal trade and currently nursing a hamstring injury, could be ready by the end of the month. The Tigers seem especially bullish about his potential. I know that the hamstring has been an issue, Hinch said. The stuff has not been an issue. Advertisement: there is a void in the Tigers clubhouse, make no mistake. Much of this team's heart and soul is gone, but the game moves on, sometimes in cold and cruel fashion. Others must pick up the slack as best they can. I think that's the special thing about this clubhouse, Torkelson said the morning after the Skubal trade. I think that's going to help us in a situation like this. The Tigers who remain believe they can handle the road ahead. This is where new franchise favorites are born. I'm glad that the deadline is over, Hinch said. This was a very emotional deadline for a lot of people around our organization, that follow the organization, that love this organization. I think all of us are glad that it's over.